Yo, everybody.
Welcome to the Red Velvet Podcast.
no, folks.
It's not the Red Velvet. It's the Velvet Sugar Podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, you were trying out a new name there.
Yes. But we have well, I just told somebody I'm here for the podcast, and the security guard goes, the Red Velvet Podcast? Yeah, go ahead. So that was the running joke.
Episode 15, folks.
Episode 15, we have a very special guest.
Yes.
He is the president. He was the former president of MGM Television. No, that was
Murphy.
Murph, you're a bump
name.
guest. You're a bump guest. There was going to be another guest.
Wow.
Well,
Almost
we're not
pulled
talking
that
about
one
that. But this is our friend Murf, and he's a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
And generally all-around nice guy.
Generally.
Generally.
Moments,
Yeah.
people would argue that point, but usually I'm good.
Yeah. But right now it's September 11th, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to go around really quick. Where were you on September 11th? Go.
I didn't make it into the city. I could not get into Manhattan. I got stuck in Brooklyn, downtown Brooklyn. I couldn't get in. I was late that day at work.
I was in Darien, Connecticut,
Okay.
remodeling a bathroom, and the man of the house was in the building adjacent to it. So his wife was losing her mind. He was okay, but for a couple hours you couldn't find out if he was okay. So and we watched the second plane hit on the little television.
Yeah.
Because she was like, I don't know, is it a hoax? Is it a tourist plane? You know, because early on you weren't sure how big the plane was.
Yeah.
And then we watched the second plane and we packed up and it was eerily quiet outside.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I had a long day.
Yeah.
It was really
rough,
crazy.
right?
A lot of people from that area were there. There was some company, Cantner Fitzgerald. A lot of those people live in the Darien area. So she was calling and people were coming by and formed like support groups. They knew after a few hours because nobody was calling back.
Can you see the smoke from Connecticut?
No, not at all.
I was actually in Afghanistan in a cave. I was communicating through flash drive with the. I'm kidding. Relax. Trying to break the tension. Why are you looking away? Relax. It's okay. It's all good. I
I'm
got
like,
parents
he
to
cut his
smile.
hair.
What kind
changed his life.
What kind of cave could you fit in?
Just sitting in a cave. I always say that like the terrorists couldn't kidnap me. You know why? Number one,
You wouldn't
they
fit in
couldn't
the
afford to
trunk.
feed me. There'd be a lot of hummus they'd have to feed me until I cut my head off. Number two, they don't have an orange jumpsuit that fits me. It doesn't come in 4XL. They cannot help you. Just go. Just leave.
Please.
You're eating all the olives and hummus.
That day, honestly, I was late.
That was an impression of a Mexican.
Oh, okay.
Not an Arab.
That's a great impression,
That would
guys.
be racist.
That's,
All right, go ahead.
I was late that day. Well, I was usually late every day, but I decided to just have some toast at home and a cup of tea. And then as soon as I crossed the street from my building, my brother called and said, "Hey, a plane just hit the World Trade Center." So in my typical Caribbean mode, I was like, "I want to go see."
Yeah.
You know, and there were like so many police and fire and ambulances that were going down Atlantic Avenue. I was like, I don't know what's going on. I got on the train finally. If you got on the train 2 stops early, you had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
Did you think as a black man all the police were coming for you?
No.
No. Okay, just check.
It's just, zooming by.
Just zooming by.
And when I got downtown Brooklyn to J Street, I was like, should I get off? Should I stay? Because the train said it was going over the 6th
Did you see
Avenue
the
line
smoke and everything from the towers?
from downtown Brooklyn.
What, you
Until
close?
I got up. But I was on the train. Nobody knew what was going on but me because I had just heard from my brother.
But were they like freaking out?
Nobody knew what was
Nobody-
going on.
nothing.
We thought there was
That's
that
what I'm
little
saying.
photo plane.
But what made me
Wait, there really weren't no cell phones then, right?
what they were, but
Oh, yeah, that's right. Wait a minute. There were because I took a call from my mom. I was in Bayside.
Yeah, there was
when the train says, when the conductor said we're going due to an incident at Chambers Street World Trade Center, we're going over the 6th Avenue line. I was like, nah. So even the doors were closing on me, and I just pushed them open. I got out. When I got out, when I got up downtown Brooklyn, it was chaos. People were running, screaming. Store was closing.
Screaming
Yeah,
and running?
people started screaming. Yeah, because doors
Jesus.
were closing. I was like, what's going on? There was no signal. Mm-hmm. I had to use a payphone to call my mother. I said, what's going on? They said, well, they said a second plane hit. I was like, what?
How crazy is it?
It was crazy.
There's people going to be watching this. They don't know what a payphone is.
Yeah, I
That's kind of true, right?
Yeah.
So I was in the car. I was driving with the World Trade Center behind me, 12 miles away in Bayside. My mom called me and told me what happened. I couldn't believe it, obviously. I looked, I turned around, and in the rear windshield, rear mirror, I could see the smoke because it's like 12 miles away, and you could see it like clear as day. It was like a clear day. Still went to school. I was going to school, to college. This is my fourth year. Third year in college. So I got to school, and the professor gave us this talk. He was like a little weird. So he gave us a talk. He's like, we should still continue teaching because that's what the terrorists want us to stop our lives. You can't disagree with that. He was kind of right. He's like, you don't just stop everything. Let's continue the class.
This is like hours later.
Here's the funny thing.
But he got outnumbered.
Queens. But this downtown, as you saw what happened, nobody, you can say work, nothing. He was like, what? Because I hopped on a bus. I called my supervisor at home because she was on vacation. She's like, I don't know what's going on. I said, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And I literally got on the bus, and the bus sat there for about an hour and a half. I ended up walking home.
Yeah.
Because it was just really chaotic. And my then girlfriend, my wife now, she worked then at like 26th Street. And she had to end up walking over the 59th Street Bridge into Queens.
A lot of other people.
Yeah, and then making their way back to Brooklyn.
I usually get a little looting in when this happens. You want to get your looting in?
Get some flat screens.
Yeah, I mean, listen, when there's chaos, you want to take advantage of it, see a couple of
you
stores.
You go home and watch it.
You couldn't lift the flat screen in 2001 because they were about this thick.
Yeah, the rear projection. He's a big guy, though. He carries it around like his lunch.
But yeah, that is our remembrance. And once again, rest in peace to the many souls lost on that tragic day. But to move forward, now we got Murf here with us.
Now we're going to go to the comedy, right?
After that comedy right
uplifting
after that.
moment.
Yeah.
That's good.
Thanks,
That's
Alex.
Start the podcast right?
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
it's either this at the end of the podcast.
It is 9/11.
Okay.
Bring us down. Well, we got Murf, who's kind of like our godfather a little bit. Comedy.
Yeah, these youngsters doing comedy.
Tells us, you're going to make it, you're not going to make it.
Sometimes you can tell. Sometimes it's a shock.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like, I started actually I saw a show with Robert Klein at Gotham Comedy Club. And the internet was around, this is around 2000, right? Before 9/11, actually. And it was dial-up, so it took forever to research things.
Yeah.
So I saw that they had a free comedy class at Gotham City Improv, so I figured it's the same place.
So it's 2003.
No, 2000.
2000.
So I went
saw a
down
class. Okay.
to New York City and realized it's a block apart.
Yeah.
But I took the free class. I never even really knew much about improv.
Was it like a scam just to try to get you to...
No, not at all.
It was a real
deal?
deal?
It's free class. You want to sign up, you don't. I met a stand-up comedian there.
Did you have to take your clothes off?
Only at the end.
Oh, gotcha.
Because
It's
there's
like
a
it's
big
a free
window.
class, but
There's
there was a producer.
And I realized this is really helpful.
how your chest looks.
It's really helpful because
Some guy with the name Weinstein.
you have nothing, which as a starting in comedy, you really don't have anything anyway.
Yeah.
And they taught you it really was good for stage fright.
Okay.
Because you bombed horribly.
So did you want to be a comic, or did you want
I wanted to do stand-up.
You wanted to do stand-up?
But I never even knew this was a thing. So this other stand-up comedian says, I've been doing it for 3 years. I want to do this because I think it'll help me write. And I was there with all these other...
So you were 45 years old?
Yeah.
Right? Okay, you started late, like...
42.
Yeah.
And it was funny because I was actually in a relationship. We went to couples therapy. The therapist and my girl at the time decided I needed psychiatric help. I went to a psychiatrist. He said, I'm having a great time.
It's always
you
the
should
guy's
do
fault.
comedy. Apparently we made no progress psychologically, but we had a good time. So he said, you should do comedy.
Well, you were messing around in there, joking around?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah, Murf is like that. I just call this guy and I'm like, how you doing? He's like, I'm dying, but you know what? At least you'll throw
That's
like a
just the
joke
way
in
I am.
there.
Yeah. So as soon as they stitched me up. So I tried that. And then as I got into forming a group, I started hosting the beginning of the show. And that's why I realized I really wanted to do it. But I stuck with improv for a couple of years. and dabbled in stand-up, and that's never good. You know, like you say, you can tell some people are probably going to make it.
Yeah.
The people that really work at it,
You got to work at it.
you know, they grind it out, and that's a real major part of
like
it.
anything else.
I mean, yeah, but if you think of what comedy is, it's the business of making folks laugh, right? Now you got to come up with material. You know, there's many different styles, right? And the styles change over the years, right? You got to come up with this thing to go on stage in front of people to make them laugh. Sometimes everybody not come to laugh. Everybody come like this. People come like. You know what I mean? It's a hard gig, man.
It's one of the things that's never really discussed about it is, and a lot of comics that are very successful do it. People see them and almost immediately think that they would like them. They project sort of an aura. You know, like you were talking about how quickly, like Nate Bargatze. People see him. I turn them on to.
He's likable.
You look at him and you like him. And now we're talking about Dusty Slay. Again, somebody you look at and you're like, oh, I think I like him. And
But it's not always like that.
No, there's other comics that are confrontational and they're edgy and their writing is really good.
Right.
So they make it on that, but it's a harder road.
It's easier to be, if you're
You
likable.
still got to be funny. You can't just be likable and
But
boring.
usually, if you're really likable and sweet, you're a clean comic. You rarely see like a likable sweet guy who's filthy.
No.
Right? That goes hand in hand. You got to and it's harder because then you got to write jokes that are clean. It's a certain kind of style.
Well, I've been trying that a long time.
Yeah.
And sometimes I get it and sometimes I don't. Writing all the time clean, I don't think I could ever pull that off.
Yeah.
It's just, that's not life, you know? That's a gift.
When I started out, I was squeaky clean.
You're still pretty clean.
Yeah, but like, you know, I still let go of.
I've had an effect on you. I've done my best, you know.
No, but also too, you ran rooms. You produced shows, and even to some new names in the business like Andre Kim.
Andre Kim.
Yeah.
At the time, I still lived in Norwalk.
Yeah.
So who'd you do open mics with that are like?
Hold on, let him finish his point,
yeah.
Alex. God, I'm sorry.
Down children.
I'm sorry,
Yeah, so I had, in the beginning, I was getting shows that I didn't deserve because back in early 2000, there weren't nearly as many comedians.
Right.
You'd get a show. I was featuring with no business featuring, but I could bring people. They're like, oh, comedy show? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd tell this person who'd tell this person, and before you know it, I have 15 people showing up. They thought I was a hero.
Yeah.
They were there for the buffet.
Yeah.
You know, and the show. The shows were good. But through that, I started getting spots around Connecticut. And there was a theater. We started doing the Bijou Theater.
Right.
And I did a show at the Bijou, and we were coming out, and everybody wanted, they wanted to hang out a little in that post-show glow, you know. Yeah. So we went to a bar that one of my relatives must own, Murphy's Law. What a rarity, a bar named Murphy's. And they said, we have an open mic here. And I said, wow, I need to work on the stand-up thing more, you know. So I started going to that. And that's how I met Andre Kim. Yeah. I met
when he was a beginner, when he was starting out.
He was starting out, but I said before, he had a unique angle, and he talked about himself and his family, and what's great about that is nobody's going to steal that material because it's unique to you.
That's the whole thing we were talking about with Colin. What he was telling me is you got to talk about personal stuff, not jokes. Anybody could write a joke.
When you're at a mic with 25 people and you have standard observational jokes, chances are there's going to overlap with other people that are there.
It's also memorable when you have a personal joke about a family. People remember that for a long time
because they maybe can identify with some of it.
And it paints a clearer picture.
Also, you ever hear Andre Kim's his voice? His voice does not necessarily match his face.
No,
he got a soul voice.
Yeah,
like a black person.
He has a deep voice.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know
I was
what I mean?
on one show with him back in the day.
Yeah.
Before COVID. Yeah. So have been on any open mics or shows because you've been around for 20 years with people who are now famous, made it. We saw them at
Jessica
open mic level.
Curson, when I first started.
Regular open mics, right?
No, she was. Well, I started the open mics, and somebody told me, to go check out Gotham Comedy Club. It was literally the old. It wasn't even where it is now. It was on I think 21st Street.
Gotham. Okay.
So I went in and I started talking to this girl Deirdre, and she was a comic, and she said, "Yeah, we have a class here," and she was kind of intimating, it's hard to just break in.
Yeah.
It takes a long time, and she says you should try this class, and it was taught by Dan Vitale, who had been on Saturday Night Live, and was a really respected comic, And so I said, well, how much was it? And it wasn't that much, a couple $100. So I said, I'll sign up for it. So when I signed up for it, Jessica and Deirdre were kind of like interns with him. They probably got stage time. And he was really good. He had his issues. He was dark, but inside he was a really nice guy. I can still remember some of his jokes, because at 9/11, so I took his class. Our graduation show was canceled because it was like 3 or 4 days from now. So the city was kind of shut down. We ended up, I think, in the beginning of February. But I watched, Jessica mess around. Like we would each go up on stage at some point every class.
This is what year?
2001, right around. Well,
she started then, right?
2001. She started.
She was
a little
like
bit before me. She probably started in '99.
Was she that funny then?
Yeah, she was crazy. And when I saw her live with you a while ago, and I didn't bring it up. She used to do her Jewish mother getting stoned, and she'd laugh because she hasn't done that bit in a long time. But I was looking at her going, the recklessness, I was still what I would consider inhibited by I couldn't be that lunatic.
She was like nuts.
She was totally not free inhibited. And crazy and really funny.
Which helps your comedy. You're not supposed to care.
I was like, I got to be more like her, And now and her crowd work is phenomenal. At that point, I didn't see that because it was just a class. And then when we did our show, she was in our show, and she was already crushing it. And they let you, if you're in the class, you could sit in on shows. So that was my school. Okay. I learned from him, I used to twirl the cord.
Yeah.
Mason, our friend Jesus Mason, does it. He's cracking the whip sometimes. And I realized, oh God, I used to do that. Because you get nervous, and how do you express your nervousness?
Yeah.
You start, or I had a thing with bright lights.
Yeah.
So I would look down a lot. Now I just look at them. I don't need to see. I'm thinking anyway.
Yeah, if you're doing a show and there's bright lights there, you try to look through them for the crowd.
Yeah, and see what's going on. The good thing in the last 20 years, I've almost totally lost my hearing. So heckling is not a problem. I probably can't hear them unless they have a bullhorn. So it's an advantage. I've grown into this,
So a lot of people watching this who maybe are listening who aren't comedians, what we're talking about is if you're on a stage doing a show, and you see the comedian, the crowd is dark, and the comedian is lit up. We get the lights are in our face. We don't really see the crowd, right? You just see bright. I like that better. You're in your own world. You're not looking at anybody's face. You can kind of disappear into your act and not. Because doesn't it throws me off if I'm watching people too much.
For me, I think if the lights are too bright and I can't see anybody, that might affect me a little bit.
Not that bad, but you don't want to see people lit up right there looking at you.
Well,
it throws my rhythm off.
If I prepared well, then it's gonna be what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My early on issues was not being properly prepared. So that would manifest itself in being nervous on stage, biting up my words, and not free. But the more experience you got, even before a show, we got a show Sunday, by the way. Alex and I are on the same show. What would happen was, I would have to prepare from now and say, I'm going to do this, that. And I'd even be nervous doing it. And if I don't do it, I'm all nervous that day. I don't want to go anywhere. Just go get it. But now, more comfortable. You've done your material. You've tested it. And sometimes you even get bold enough to just put new stuff in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's where I'm at today.
In the beginning, I used to over-prepare.
Yeah.
I treated it like an actor with a script.
Right.
And
you prepare word for word, like a joke?
Yeah, because I was so worried about forgetting.
Oh, I got
And
you.
I didn't realize that the reason I was forgetting was because I was trying to remember,
Right.
6 pages of
And-
work
and-
versus the ideas.
And unless you got like a real OG to really show you the game, show you how this works, how you do stuff, you end up sometimes spending a lot of time trying to figure out yourself, okay, what is...
There is
how
no
do I do this?
internship program for comedy. There's no. Everybody
No,
goes through
but-
different
but-
paths.
Right,
slightly.
they do, but a mentor can definitely help.
Well,
You know
most
what I mean?
people don't have one. The mentor is busy doing comedy.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Okay,
know?
do you know who Bruce is?
Yeah.
Right. And you know who Mike Epps is?
Yeah.
He mentored Mike Epps when he
Really?
first started. Yes, he used to mentor him,
That's
and Bruce said that. Alex doesn't know who Bruce. You
I
want to
know
Google?
exactly
You want to
who
Google
Bruce
Bruce? Bruce?
I know exactly who he is.
Why is he named Bruce twice?
He's like, I don't know. Is it because he's big?
There he
So
is.
he
He is
there
big.
he is. Yeah,
Fills up the
big
whole
boy.
screen.
Yeah.
Really good
From
comedian.
Atlanta. Yeah, hilarious. But he mentored Mike Epps.
Really? I
Showed
didn't
Mike
know
Epps
that.
what to
Yeah.
do next. Mike Epps became Mike Epps. You know what I mean? So you do need, if you're fortunate enough to have a mentor that says, okay, this is what comedy is. I had a guy by the name of Cynic, and I had met him at a show that I did, right? He found out I was from Barbados. His parents are from Barbados. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna give you a nice intro." Da 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 da. Blah. I hadn't done comedy for a couple of years. No mics, no nothing. I got up there and kind of froze in front of the audience.
Deer in
'Cause
the
my
headlights?
my first joke went, and that was it for the 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Nothing. After he did say to me, "I think you got something there. I could just show you
I
how
just
to."
don't know where it is.
And listen, I got in my feelings and stayed there. I was like, I don't want to go, and I never took him up on the offer to go and let him, mentor me.
I did a show, and we had time. Obviously, the show, one of those great ones, came with dinner.
Yeah. Oh.
I mean, that was a bonus. I don't see that too often anymore. But
Well.
so I was sitting with some of the other comedians, and there's this guy Gino, and he just went by that,
Yeah.
which I respected. He's like, that's that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
And he was pretty old then. He was probably my age, and I thought he was old.
Yeah.
I was in my 40s. He was probably middle, late 60s. And he had been in a coma from a stroke for a couple of years.
Wow.
And then when he got recovered, he took years to get his voice back and his memory back.
Wow.
And now he was back. And you could tell, and the other comics were in awe of him, like, oh, you should see this guy.
Was he like speaking right?
Yeah, I wouldn't have noticed. He was very frail, though, And he started giving me, like, writing exercises.
Really?
Yeah, and he was just like, Murf, come here, let me talk to you. He's like, so he started giving me little tips, like, Easter's coming up. What do you think about Easter? Hats? Write about hats. And then he'd start giving me little quick quizzes just to get your mind. He goes, you got to get the mind working, He goes, you may not make jokes about hats, but just get your mind working.
Yeah, that's
It's
a
all
good
about
point.
that.
Right.
It's called free association.
Yeah.
Like free associate.
And I had seen him, and his material was solid. You could tell, though, because I'd worked with him a few times. He was doing the same material, but he was still good, And one show, this guy came and sat right up front, and he had this Coast Guard jacket with the brushes on it and everything.
The brushes.
And I
like the
never
Captain Crunch outfit? Like
That's what happened.
Yeah. Right.
So the poor guy and his wife were there, and I Jessica was on the bill, but I don't think she probably said, "You think he looks nice in that, right?" She's sweet,
You look like a doorhop.
All the other
Like a
comics,
doorman in the city.
all the other comics were brutal, And Gino, his whole act just about was saying that, And I was closing. I had no business closing, I'll tell you, after Gino and Dan and everything. But I brought like 30 people.
You caught the tail end of that part of comedy in the late 90s, early 2000s where like, hey, you got 5 minutes, you want to close in that? Do you want to do an hour and close out?
No, it's
where
like
there's so many shows and clubs
I was
doing
bringing
terrible
so
comedy.
many people because it was a buffet and a comedy show, and
Where were you
everybody
getting
kept
these
having a
people?
good
Where were
time.
you getting these people from?
Oh, all over, people that I just knew growing up. I had this.
But they come see you once and that's
No,
it.
but I went to they kept coming because some of the other comics would change. This buffet was Skriller.
Okay, so you had a
And
buffet with
my
it.
friend's wife owned a hair salon. She had like 5 women working in her salon. Then they'd bring their boyfriends, and then their friends. There'd be giant tables like at a catering hall.
The year 2000, right? You said,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, this is when it was still going on.
It was rocking, yeah. And It was a good time, but
that was a terrible time of
I remember
comedy.
getting up at the end, and the guy was just, he didn't even want to look up anymore. And
Right.
I said, sir, and I was at the time, I memorized
Yeah.
my material. I go, I'm not going to pick on
How
you."
much did you do? How much time did you do?
I was doing like a tough 8. Like I was.
Oh, 8 minutes?
I would.
When
I
you
would,
had no
I would-
material?
I would slow my cadence
So,
down.
how you ladies doing?
But
You're doing
you
the
killed my
black guy thing.
punchline though, because nobody brought up. I go, now I know where I've seen you before, Captain Crunch. And the guy looked so disappointed, like because I promised I wasn't going to do anything. You know?
Oh, God.
You know what's the worst? When you're like waiting to go. That was a headlining thing?
I don't think I think somebody really good went after me. I think I was a feature. I don't
Yeah.
think I was headlining.
If a whole show sucks and you're headlining and you're waiting and you're like, oh, now it's just my turn to
But
suck.
that's what I learned too.
That
about
happens.
Having material that's, because then what happens? You're ready to go.
Yeah.
You're ready to go out, and the guy before you has like half his material is remarkably similar to yours.
Right.
But you're unique.
Yeah.
You're unique. So,
Yeah.
and I just try to stay as off the beaten path as possible. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I've ran by some of my routines, and then you would say, hey, you haven't done this in a while. Why don't you do this?
I still want to hear the baseball umpire, and you with the tennis guy.
I always do it.
I
always
never
do it.
see it when I'm there. It's like, oh, Mercy, I'm dropping that.
Yeah. But it's funny.
Bunch of teases.
It's funny. A friend of mine today, he was like, you did this bit about cookies that was hilarious, and I've never done it again. I was like, you know what? Yes, I gotta go back over it and just, and I know why I don't remember it, because I wasn't focusing on the people that were laughing and enjoy it. I was focusing on the young people that was like, oh, rolling their eyes.
Yeah.
I had a joke that involved a semi-prop. It was a pair of glasses, and I put a piece of wood painted black. So when you're on TV and you don't give approval, so they put that to block your eyes. So the whole idea was I would tell people, build up that I was on TV, turn around, and then I'd put these on, and I'd say that I was on Cops.
With the black strip?
Yeah, and it was funny. It was a neat,
Jesus
cheap laugh. And I kept acting out different reasons I was on Cops. And then I said, I sat on the glasses like 3 times. I kept building new ones. Finally, I don't want to be a prop comic, you know? I didn't do it. I'm at a show. Everything went great. This guy comes up with his friend and goes, I thought you were going to do the bit with the glasses. I told him all about it. So I did it just for those 2 guys. I had them in my...
Oh, geez. So
my
you mean like a one-off, separate?
Just for them, yeah.
Oh, geez.
I'd never been asked to do a thing like that before. you know?
Demand comedy with Murf.
Yeah, I'm like, it's like,
geez.
you put a coin in and you get a little chuckle, and you go about your day.
The whole Louis, who was it, Louis?
Louis Anderson.
Louis Anderson, he had a bit on Cops. Dude, made me laugh so hard where he said they always pull over a guy and say, they're like, the guy's always guilty. But no matter how guilty the guy is, he won't admit he's guilty. So he'd be like, we found this crack in your pants. What's this in your pants? He goes, oh, those are my friend's pants. he always have like an out. He'd be like, well, the other pocket has $100,000. What's that? He goes, oh, that's mine. And Louis just had the best bits on like the Cops and life like that. He did die, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
he did.
Okay, I didn't know.
He did. And we're back. Oh, and we're back.
We had to pause for Murf. He had to have a procedure.
Oh, God.
Murf
Yes.
is always having a procedure.
I carry my own paddles.
What
now.
happens when you're 65 years old is you call somebody who's over 60 and you usually get this. You get like, I'm around, or I'm having a procedure today.
I've learned a lot about acoustic ceilings. They wheel you around, and there's nothing else to look at. Like in here, there's been an
Well, Murf,
obvious
I have a
patch.
special thing for you.
What's
You're
that?
not only on this podcast, but you're also going to get
Oh, God.
Oh,
a
my God.
free
Merch.
rectal prostate exam
Oh, God.
by a licensed professional. I'm a professional. Don't try this at home.
He's got such big hands.
So just,
Those gloves
can
are
I
not
get
gonna-
my hands in here?
Nope.
No?
Thank God.
Oh no, these are for small.
They're
These
7.5.
are expired gloves. All right, come on here. Let me give you a prostate. All right, that joke sucked.
Oh,
Listen,
God.
not everything can be a killer joke.
No, I
right?
can't.
Oh, that
Wow.
smells like latex.
It is.
That smells like a condom. I haven't smelled this for a long time. I haven't smelled this since before my purse was born.
Jeez. But yeah, I mean, so the journey is, and especially for Alex and I, we're comics, we're older, a couple of dads, and we're uniquely us. We have chemistry from the very first time. Amanda, I was like, And I honestly said, that's a big motherfucker. When I first saw him, I was like, shit, he comedy or bouncing?
You
Right?
met at Lucy's?
Yeah, at Lucy.
Met at Lucy's, yeah. But comedy is hard, man. It tests you every month, every couple of months. It tests you. I just did a show where it tests your like ability to. Makes you question like how good you are, because you meet people you think you're good, and then you meet people who are like, holy crap, this guy's talented, and you meet people like that all the time now.
Yeah.
Super talented. But you know, like I was listening to Bill Burr's podcast the other day, and he said you cannot go by that. You're only competing against yourself.
Yeah.
You only just can keep writing. That's inconsequential to your life. Right. You just keep writing and doing better comedy.
Which is what it is, and but sometimes we think, oh, that's corny. That's just a corny thing to say to make you feel better. But it's actually true. You know, Paul Verzi, because you've met Paul Verzi. We
were Lucy's when he came in for an open mic.
Right.
I don't know if you were there that day.
No,
but
I wasn't.
He came in for 10 minutes.
It's funny. He had an Instagram live on, and I was on. I said something. He was like, "Oh, Black Rock Day, that's an awesome name, right?" But he was talking about what it is to get a special or make a special. He's like, Netflix will offer you a special, a deal, but it's like, we like it, but we can't do it right now. We got this lineup, and then we gotta, put you on a few months down, and then when they put you on, it's only like a week you're featured before the next. Special is on. Oh. Right? He said that's what really happened. So he said, all these meetings and disappointments, what he's going to do is do it on his own. He's going to the YouTube route. He's building his YouTube channel, encouraging everybody to subscribe, which is what we want you to do. Subscribe to the Velvet Sugar Podcast.
Please.
And tell a friend to tell a friend.
Not the Red Velvet Podcast.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is. The Velvet Sugar Podcast. Yes. And build it that way so that, it is a platform that is now available, but it's still hard work. There's all the gatekeeping and thing, which is you understood that because then you got somebody deciding, I don't like this phrase here, and the whole thing goes to.
Oh, it's terrible. Yeah.
But now you can actually, and I've known people that have put their own specials on YouTube. Yeah. They have. So that's an actual, a route that's available.
Seems like your internet presence is a lot larger of a part than it was ever before the last few years. Yes. It seems to get ahead of you and builds up your demand, because I've done shows with people that never made it in the clubs, but first made it on the internet.
Yeah, that's the thing now. Yeah.
But that's tricky though, because some of the and it was a thing where these guys comedians or content creators, and they would have comedian in the bio comedian, but when it comes to the art of getting up and telling jokes, 5 minutes is like 5 hours to them. Like they get butts in the seat because they got 1 million followers. Yeah. So definitely a club is you're gonna pack my house. Yeah. You're gonna buy tickets, you're gonna buy food, you're gonna buy drinks. So hell yeah. Forget that you're not really good at comedy yet.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna make money.
You know what I heard from somebody reputable in the city right now? That if you want a manager that can put you out on the road and stuff, you got to have a minimum. I don't know why this number, but you got to have at least something like 32,000 or 20,000 Instagram followers just to show that you have. It's like, it's kind of like that. It's kind of like acting. Like, you got to get an agent, but to get an agent, you got to do some work. It's like, I need an agent to get work.
Right.
It's a weird catch-22, but there is a way to break in. It's just not easy.
Yeah. And you do it with I think one of the formulas is you do it with podcasting and videos. Yeah. You get a video that goes viral, right? Yeah. But and it's no guarantee that your video viral is going to attract followers. Sometimes it does, sometimes it does not, right? Because I was listening to Ian Lowry. You know who Ian Lowry is? Ian Lowry is a comic.
It's a black comic.
He was on Jimmy Fallon. Mm-hmm. He did a set on Jimmy Fallon, 5 million views. And he said nothing.
It did nothing for his career.
Isn't that really
bizarre?
Which is crazy to think, because that used to be the formula back in the day. You got those amount of eyes. You're definitely going on the road to do this.
I wonder if it helped him get bookings at least. I always thought that looked so good on your resume.
He's at
Fallon.
Did you see what Matt Rife recently did?
No.
So you know how he got so much shit for coming out with a special?
Yeah.
And the special was him doing actual material.
Yeah.
And what did everybody say? He's great at crowd work, but not actual material. Yeah. He just released the smart thing. He quickly got ahead of it and he released the crowd work special because that's what he's good at.
Yeah.
But like I think this time, even though it's weird with the gatekeepers now, you're your own gatekeeper by your own YouTube or Instagram channel or TikTok.
A combination
but
of all of
it doesn't lie. It's very honest right now. If you're a good comedian, you're gonna get stage time. I think you still can't have this giant presence, show up and be a crappy comedian. You got to be a good comedian. Right. You still got to be you still have good material.
Right.
You can still get your one shot now.
Right.
And like I saw a guy who had like 1 million Instagram followers, and he somehow was on a special. He got a special. I'm just gonna say he was terrible, and then that's it. That was the end of him. He got the million Instagram followers got him his shot to get the special. But if the special's not good, it's just gonna be a one-time thing. You'll never get another. You still have to have the substance. Has to be
also,
there.
too, there's different levels of specials, and all specials aren't an hour. Some people come up with half an hour now. Because back in the day, you would get Comedy Central, Comedy Blend. It was 30 minutes. You do 30. So. I mean,
my dad always said I'm a different level of special. My dad always said I'm a different level. My dad always said I'm a different level of special.
Dad's a smart man.
That's what he was talking about, right?
When he was tightening up the strap, the chin strap.
They usually kept me in the attic. You gotta have a chain.
Put the food at the bottom of the stairs.
You were saying about the minutes, the half hour.
They used to do 22 minutes and then 8 minutes of commercials.
Right.
I think in my special we're going to shoot, Murf and I are going to shoot a co-special, and it's going to be at the Cafe Luna. So the backstory to that is Murf asked me to be on a show. I should immediately say no when you told me how you got this. Murf's like, I met some dude.
He was trying to sell me solar.
We got solar, I work for a solar panel business. And we just need you want to do an hour? He doesn't even know you, and he offers you an hour.
That happens to me sometimes.
He goes, hey, you want to go to Connecticut? I'll give you $100. It was $100? 150?
I think you got
it's 150.
150. And dinner.
You got to do a half hour. I'm like, wait, this guy knows nothing about you. There's no host. So we get there. It's a back room. It's rented out for a private party, an Albanian-run Italian restaurant,
Food.
And we get back there, and this dude didn't tell any one of his people that are in his company.
And nobody drinks yet.
If you surprise
your company
company
first.
And it was just a bunch of young, those what do we joke? They were all young women and men, mostly in their 20s, who were just used car salesmen. They were only interested in making money and having a drink on a Friday.
Commission-based sales.
And then the guy's like, well, you can't have drinks until after the comedy show. So they were sitting there hating us, we got to listen to this crap for an hour until we have our drinks.
I want him dead.
And literally bombed.
Luckily,
for about
though, a
30
woman
minutes straight.
wore a bucket on her head and really brought down the house.
some Albanian lady who worked there came by, put a bucket on
during
her head.
his set.
Oh,
She walked right in front of me during the set.
goes, "Look."
I just got to go to the kitchen. And then she put a bucket on her head and everybody laughed. She got a bigger laugh than I did. We went out to his car and I was like...
He was very upset. I enjoyed it.
Murph was like, I enjoy bombing. I was like, my career's over. I want to quit. Is there an oven I can stick my head into?
But bombing is a part of it.
The chicken
It doesn't
cutlets
feel
were
good.
delicious.
No, it feels
It
terrible.
feels horrible. And every time it's funny. I did a 10-minute set. One place was great. I was like, oh man, that's so good. I did the same set a few days later. I was like, maybe I should have gone to dental school or something.
Yeah.
But that's how you feel. But you gotta keep punching away, man. You gotta keep punching away. And I think one thing you brought up, now the place is super saturated with comedy shows.
Never before.
Right? We do a lot of shows up in this area. We don't have to go to the city to get on the show. You know what I mean? I mean, it's good you do that, and I think it's important to get in front of as many people as you can, especially different people. You don't want to get stuck with one group. You want to in a place like New York City, you want to, in the greater New York City, you want to be able to go all over and do comedy, right?
I'm doing more shows in Jersey, and it's a different, whole other animal in Jersey. But when Jersey's great, but when young kids come out,
I like to read the room. I used to be, let them learn to like me, and I'd rather have enough material.
What's funny?
And look around and go, all right.
So
maybe this kind of stuff is going to work.
But the kids are a whole nother animal. They're a whole nother demographic. I do best from 30 and up, or 35 and up. If they have family and kids, that's my group. But I still do good with 30 and up. This was a group of kids in the front who were 10 kids who were 24 and under. And I did a joke where I make fun of a fat guy. I don't want to this is one of my big jokes is about a fat guy. So you're making fun of somebody fat. And that's the only time I see the whole table, 24, collectively, this is something like old people would do. Old women did this 40 years ago. Now it's reversed, and the young kids are the sensitive ones. They were like, "Aw."
Yeah.
24-year-old guy. They were like bros too.
Yeah.
They were like college bros. They're like, "Aw."
Oh, he's-
like that's mean.
He's fat shaming.
That's what like a table of women is supposed to do.
This
Who's
person-
70.
Yeah.
I mean,
But it's flipped around.
has.
Somebody talks about that. I think Bird talked about it, where it's flipped around. The young people are like the old people now, and the old people
Yeah.
are like the young people.
Yeah.
Old people are like, nothing
Yeah.
shocks me.
How
could
and
you
the young
say
people
that?
are like, they shouldn't do that.
Not only that, when you start to go to the middle of the country, the people got a different sense of humor. Your liberal pockets, you know what I mean? That people will be like, okay, shame on that. But then people just want to laugh at stupid stuff.
Yeah.
You know, because that's what the business is, to laugh. So.
So you're trying to walk this line between what you want to do and what you think they want. And sometimes it works out great, and sometimes you pick the wrong path.
But you know what I learned from those kids? I should have just stuck to my routine.
Right.
Because I deviated my routine for the younger crowd,
Right.
and
Yeah.
it went bad.
But
I should have
that-
stuck to my
They
routine.
saw that.
But doesn't that
They saw through
but
it.
but here's the deal. But I think if you gotta deviate, you gotta commit to the detour. You gotta hard commit. You just can't like gingerly waver like I'm
can't flounder
tiptoeing. No, you just gotta commit hard. Boom. If I'm gonna deviate, boom, this is what it is. And these are the results. I don't care. You know what I mean?
Depends
Again,
too
it's-
on how much time you're doing.
True,
You know? Like
true.
if you're doing 20 minutes,
Yeah.
you have time to do a 5-minute exploration of that
Yeah.
group, But if you only got, 10, 12
Well,
minutes and you got your spot figured
Depends
out.
on the type of 20 minutes though. If you're
So I'm gonna be headlining in Europe now.
okay.
Speaking of, it depends on, and I'm like going into Prague to do a headlining 2 nights.
Cool.
And it's 20 to 30 minutes, depending on me, the headline. And the Metro Club in Prague, if you're there October 23rd and 24th. No, 24th and 25th.
Yeah.
So what the hell am I walking into? I have no idea.
That's
Drunk,
right. Yeah.
drunk
But
Europeans.
it's expats, but the expats
They'll probably want
they're
to hear
mostly
jokes
from
about
England.
our country.
Well, it's expats there, mostly from England.
Oh, okay.
They're more England and Canada, not the U.S. Mostly
Okay,
England.
so you've got to get this big American talk about guns, maybe, or something like that.
I have to but a Bird talks about this on his podcast because he
What
performs
may I
all
ask
over
you?
the world.
What is your biscuits like?
No, he's like, what he says is like you're supposed to like do you change the colloquial stuff? Like if you're talking about baseball, do you change it to cricket just so they kind of have more familiar?
Yeah, that's
If
true.
the joke
'cause
involves the word baseball, do you change it to cricket? If the joke involves this, do you change it like a piece of like a food? Do you change it to something local that they eat?
Yeah.
Will they relate? But he said more or less now they relate to everything.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So I mean, the world is actually global.
It has to be a
know?
human experience.
It
Most of
really
our
is.
jokes are just human
You
Yeah,
ever,
experience.
this
ever
is,
watch
so-
Gabriel Iglesias?
Yeah,
He
Iglesias,
travels
yeah.
everywhere.
Fluffy.
It's the same
Fluffy.
jokes everywhere.
And, well, he talks about the journey, too. Like, sometimes the beginning of his material, again, somebody who you think, what a nice guy, I like
Yeah.
him. So that alone,
Right.
that hurdle.
'Cause
But he'll talk about, he does great car sounds, too.
yeah, or he does everything sounds.
And
Then he got a high pitched voice.
yeah, but he'll talk about, like, he kind of gets the people on his side.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, they know it. The advantage he has is they know his material.
Right.
They want to hear certain
Yeah.
things.
Right.
It's
Martin.
like the Beatles. Yeah, Martin.
Martin.
And he might talk about the prep of coming to this country. So
Right.
you might have some of your
Yeah.
traveling as part of your set,
Yeah.
getting like what it's like for you to come from New York, upstate New York, what that's like, because they don't know.
Doing a podcast with a black guy,
Yeah.
and you don't go
They let
black
that-
guy like that. Just go black guy. No.
Yeah, like
He
you're
was like,
casual.
I do a podcast with this Jamaican guy. That's-
My uncle, and Terrence, the first time I went, not the first, like the third time I went back to Europe, to Eastern Europe, my uncle was just sitting in the car, and I was like young, I was like in my early 20s, and they were in the front of the car, and my uncle's talking with my dad, and he goes, I don't get it. He goes, what's the problems in America? Why don't you just shoot them? Why don't you shoot the people giving problems? Like that's their solution. Like
Yeah.
they don't get it. Like they don't get what America is. You know that during 9/11, they thought we had like planes going into buildings every day. Like they thought it was a war. You know, like most people are afraid to go to Israel or afraid to go to countries that have an
Yeah.
active war.
Yeah.
But it's really nowhere. It's not the whole country.
Right.
You
Yeah.
go to Israel right now, unless you're going on the border of Gaza, you're
Yeah.
going to be fine. There's not going to be any rocket landing in your house. But over there, they
Yeah.
thought we were like in an active war zone. They have no idea what's going on. You'd be surprised how they view us. They don't-
Yeah, I won't be surprised. Just because, again, it's
They're
a whole bunch
educated.
of
Europeans
spin.
are educated on everything in America, but they don't know that stuff. They think
They just realize we
they
don't
think like if I go to
know
New York, I'm
anything
gonna get robbed by a black guy. Like, that's just what they think.
I found
Because that's what they see on TV.
Can I have 4 hamburgers for breakfast?
But you know what it is? They watch
chips.
But they watch like Crocodile Dundee and go, "Oh, a black guy's gonna rob me with a knife, so I gotta have a bigger knife." That's what they do. They base it off of TV. What
TV
other
and
information do you
movies.
have?
Right, which is
Right?
crazy.
Like
So-
if you watched like Boys in the Hood, right,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
you went to LA for the first time, would you be terrified you're gonna get shot?
I could. I don't like them colors, could.
That's it. That's what you got your information from.
That's true, man.
Murf, you got any procedures you like to
Oh,
announce?
jeez, man.
Murphy's like, I'll be at the Greenwich
I'll
Hospital
be
for a
at Greenwich
colonoscopy.
Actually, in October.
Click on the
yeah.
link for tickets.
I'm having,
I'll be
I'm
streaming
having
it
my
live.
sutures removed next Thursday on my foot.
You like to make the doctors laugh when you get rolled in there, don't you? I know.
I had
I
my
do.
colonoscopy.
It's good practice.
Let me tell you,
Let me talk about
I had
it.
him. I
You had him
him
rolling?
I had him. I had the nurse rolling. It's so funny that she was young because I said I'm a comedian, and everybody's attitude totally changed. I had them laughing first, but then when I said I'm a comedian, they said it's like you're funny. You should do comedy. I said I'm a comedian. Then everybody, not that they have a bad attitude, but it changed.
They go,
The anesthesiologist went, "Oh my God, are you gonna roast me?" She's
gonna
like,
talk
and the
about
listener,
me?
she's like, "Are you gonna roast me?" Because I
Absolutely.
didn't want to. I said, "Well, now I am."
Dave's like, please don't kill me. Just focus on what
Yeah.
you're doing.
oops,
Don't give
gave
me
him
too much
too
stress.
much. 3 days later, Dave
Yeah.
came out of the coma.
Yeah, but I kind of hate telling people what I do when I'm in those situations.
I just
'cause
like to make them laugh.
You know, it's like the
I tell
ultimate
them, I
cringe,
tell
which I hate. I hate when people go, "Oh, tell us something funny. Do you got a joke?" Oh my God!
I
if
have
hear
I
that
have a
again.
joke for that.
Yeah.
What's the joke?
A man walks into a psychiatrist's office wearing only saran wrap. The psychiatrist looks him up and down and says, "I can totally see your nuts." It works.
I got a
So
couple.
you got a
Of,
joke for him?
I got some a couple of. Sometimes if I don't get it a lot, but if they do, I be, got a mirror, right? I mean, it's old.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
You got a mirror? Something. It's like crazy stuff. I'm like, what do you do?
I came out of, I had
Do I amuse you?
one of my surgeries, I had a triple hernia because, I go all out. And they gave me too much anesthesia. I was supposed to be out of there at 5. I wasn't even conscious till like 7. And they were trying to close. I was the last patient there. And I didn't
They're
record
trying to
it.
slap you awake. Just to
They
get
had
you
me
out of the room.
walking up and down the hallway. And I was, in my coma state, I was crushing it. Unfortunately, nobody.
You were doing comedy?
Apparently, I wasn't there. My body was on cruise control.
They're like trying to leave, and you got.
I got
to
a
leave.
card. I got a thank
Well, let me
you
tell you something.
card.
How about when you go to the grocery store? Not a peanut butter. You're doing
I don't know
jokes.
exactly what happened, but I remember the cloud. Cloudy walking up and down the hallway, and there was a nurse station, and they're looking over down the hall, and these people are holding me up, and I can't even walk. And they're laughing away. So they come over, and now I have these people around me. But I was so fogged, but my mouth was on autopilot, as it frequently does. So I finally wake. At 8 o'clock, I get out. I get home, and about 2 days later, I get a card from Greenwich Hospital. I'm thinking, oh, what did I break? What did I have to pay for? And it was a thank you card from all the nurses. Said, "We had a great time. Come on back." And I've gone back. I like to get back to surgeries as much as possible.
Oh, geez.
Keep this dream alive.
But you ever tell somebody you do comedy like in these situations?
I don't
But hear me out. Like you meet these nurses, or like for me, this happens all the time. Right?
Yeah.
And pay attention next time you tell somebody. Pay attention to their face next time you tell them that you do comedy. They always have that reaction. It's like a normal guy. Like I took a jiu-jitsu. That's a true story. I did the jiu-jitsu class. These guys are all serious. And the instructor never smiled. And when I told him I did stand-up, he just went like you could see they're living through, like it's like vicariously living through what that must be like. Right?
Yeah.
A lot of people think like,
Yeah.
holy crap, like I was always like, you did that? Like it's that face that says like, oh, I can never do that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
People are terrified of
They're
public
terrified.
speaking.
Some people are. When I first started college in this country, I had to do a speech class, right? And one of the things about growing up in the Caribbean, especially in my era, we weren't necessarily that outspoken. We spoke to ourselves, or, but I grew up in church, and I would have like a recitation for every program. So I had practiced public speaking. You know what I mean? So I wasn't that nervous. So when I got
wait in the wall. Little inside joke about it.
Inside joke. So when I got up to deliver my speech, we didn't have the internet. You had to really do research to find out what you want to talk about. And I said, hold up, nobody's going to know what I talk about. So I'm going to make it up. So I made it up, and people laughed. I was like, okay, well, that's an omen of things.
I picture a bunch of Caribbeans in there sweating, like dabbing themselves. Because it's the Caribbean, it's hot already.
Yeah.
But this was BMCC actually.
Oh yeah.
College, yeah.
The first public speaking I did, I was like really hyper in school, like bouncing off the walls.
Mm-hmm.
Anything to get me out of the class. And I went to Catholic school, and there was a church next door. So I was an altar boy. I'd go do funerals or whatever. And for some reason, they asked me to read one of the passages. And
he's a Catholic.
It was a packed house. I'm up at the lectern, and I was trying to, spice it up a little, do dramatic. I took a dramatic pause, and I looked out, and they were probably thinking, why did he stop?
Yeah.
And I said, oh, I like this.
Yeah.
You like being listened to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something cool about it.
It was something
Especially
cool,
when you get people's attention.
There's like a little flush of power.
What really convinced me that I was always flirting with the idea of doing it, but what really convinced me was I had an English 3-level class, and we had one of the big part of the grade was a monologue, right? I didn't even know what a monologue was, right?
You're Caribbean. Everything you guys say is a monologue. I've never talked to a Caribbean person without a 5-minute monologue. You're like, hey, listen, where do you guys keep the orange juice? 1972. And it goes into like a speech. Caribbean people love long stories. Go ahead.
So because my last name is Beckles, I was on the first night, right? And I went to the class, and I heard people going, oh my God, I'm in like 4 weeks. I'm so nervous.
Unless you get up early.
I didn't do anything. I didn't know what to do. So I didn't do anything, right? So I got up. I had a scenario in my head about me talking to my godfather because he was here in the 40s. So he actually, got on the train. He enlisted in North Carolina in the military. So he had experience riding the back of the train because he had to, right? So I started to do stuff about that with his voice and my voice. To my surprise, people started to laugh. I was like, what? And I did it. And when I was done, people were like, I thought you said you didn't do anything. I said I didn't. I made it. It was like you made it up. The teacher was so impressed. She said, I never gave anybody their grade after but that was so good. I gave you an A+.
Wow.
Like, oh, yeah.
So to wrap it up, you guys didn't ask me about how I got in. How did I? Oh, I'll tell you.
How did you?
Hey,
I'm sorry. No,
thank you.
Alex.
Wow,
Alex.
Guys,
How
Terrence,
did you
we're
get into
forgetting
comedy?
that these are comedians and we're naturally narcissistic, so
Yeah.
it's okay. I have
A
to
little
ask
bit.
my own question.
Right.
I took an acting class to get over the fear.
Okay.
And I did a monologue. In acting class, they give you a monologue. So come back next week, memorize the monologue, and do the monologue. And I was so terrified. I did the whole monologue, and the teacher goes, that was really good, but you have to look up. You were so nervous, you didn't look up at the class.
Yeah.
I did the whole monologue looking down.
Jeez.
And that's how far you can come. It's not where you start, it's where you end up.
It really is. It really is.
Yeah.
So just like you know me, everybody knows that I love accents. A lot of accents from all over.
Yeah.
And at one point I was like, maybe I shouldn't do accents anymore.
Right?
No, you gotta
I know. And then my boy told me today, he was like, that's like Steph Curry doing layups.
Yeah.
I'm not shooting any three-pointers.
Any threes anymore. I'm done with threes.
Right, you could get better at the other stuff, but do what you're good at.
Yeah. So I have
stop
gotten
it.
better and keep
I had a much
later.
harder time in acting just because you're trying to be somebody that you're not so sure of. Like some actors commit, they have this biography of that person in their head.
I can't commit that way. It's not easy.
I'm not
it's not easy.
good at it.
Listen, I have bombed already at being Othello, okay?
Yeah.
Being my procrastinating self, I didn't memorize all the lines. I did like scene 4, act 5. And I did like scene 5, act 4, and scene 4, act 5. Oh, God. Thank God it wasn't a lot of crowd. But I learned for that, and I was able to perform very well as Othello.
I'll tell you one
But I think-
real fast.
Okay.
This is when I knew I was going to be stand-up, and that's the month I quit. I did acting classes for 5 years. I did the class. We did a scene from a Glenn Ross, the Salesman movie. I forgot what it was
Death
called.
of the Salesman? Oh.
Death of-
Glengarry
no,
Glen
no, no,
Ross.
no.
Okay.
Which one? Do you know which one I'm talking about? Glenn Ross?
Yeah.
The,
Real estate.
the real estate one. I forgot with Al Pacino, and that was the character of Al Pacino. No, of Jack Lemmon when he gets busted and he's going to go to jail.
Yeah.
He's begging for the guy not to give him up, and the guy just says, "Fuck you." And then when the scene was over, people laughed. And I was trying to give a dramatic performance, and the guy looked at me. He goes, "Yeah, you know what? You should do stand-up." And that's when I knew.
Yeah.
But it's like, hey, all right, I finally know what I want
That
to do.
was my
what I'm good at.
psychiatrist.
That was
Whoa.
your psychiatrist.
He also was an acting teacher.
All right, that's it.
Well-
We got to wrap it up.
We got to wrap it up, man. Murf, thanks for being our guest today.
Hey,
Thanks
no
for coming and
problem.
sharing your experience.
We're gonna give you a new name. It's a black name, Murf. Like
Murf.
Bruce, you're Murf.
I gotta go. My ambulance is.
Once again, follow us at Velvet Sugar Podcast and email us with questions, please. Velvet Sugar Podcast
Tell
at
your
gmail.com. Tell your friends, tell your friends. I'm at Black Rock Dave. What's your handle, Murf?
Murf, James Murphy, Facebook.
Yeah.
Black name, Murf Talent Murf.
Give him your handle.
At Big Alex Comedy.
Big Alex Comedy. But guys, thanks for tuning in. This has been episode 15. So, yeah, it's been fun, man. Thank you, Murf.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Thank you.